Deep spit. Listen, a lot of you motherfuckers is compromised. You guys are some compromised dudes. And this is really hurting society. I've realized something over the last couple of weeks. A lot of dudes are compromised. They're compromised by their job. They're compromised by their girl. They're compromised by their society. They're just compromised in all angles. Their parents, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things you got to understand as a man is there is no compromising even in the face of Armageddon. Even in the face of Armageddon. Even when everything's going to hit the fucking fan and it's going to be all bad, you fucking stand tall on your principles. You don't give up. And what I see is a lot of men just, they cower. We got a lot of cowards in the fucking world right now. A lot of guys are just scared to be they're scared to be men. And what man is, you're an animal. Like any other fucking animal. You want territory, you want resources, you want booty, and you want to be free. And a lot of you guys are not living free. You think you're living free, but you're living in a zoo pen. And I want you guys to understand, if you don't get yourself out of that zoo pen, if you don't escape and get to the wild, you'll never embrace who you truly are. You'll never find out what you're truly made of and what your genetic code is really, what's really locked up in your genetic code. Jordan Peterson had a fucking great saying. He said, there's so much potential in your genetic code that you're scared to fucking release because you're scared to leave that safety and comfort of your fucking pen. Get out the fucking zoo, people. Get out the goddamn zoo. Now, I understand. A lot of you guys might have responsibilities and things like that. I understand. Don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. But plan to get out the fucking pen. Because the longer you stay in that pen, the more domesticated you become. The more domesticated you become, the worse of a man you become. Because man is a fucking wild animal. He's a cowboy. And that's what has happened to society. Man has lost his fucking cowboy nature. He's no longer that fucking roaming beast that used to go anywhere, not take shit from nobody, speak his goddamn mind, and deal with the fucking consequences as they came. We lost that. And when we lost that, that's when society started to fall. Like, I no longer believe in that. Well, I still believe in that. Weak men create hard times, and hard times create strong men. But right now, we're in a hard time, and men are still being soft because the level of men that created what we live in today, this modern society that we get to live in today, they are gone, and that doesn't exist anymore. We don't have men who are willing to step up and say what needs to be fucking said in situations where they need to be said. And because of that, a lot of people are getting away with a lot of reckless shit. You're scared of words? Bro, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I was compromised for a long time. A long time I was very compromised. And as soon as I started to feel freedom, and that's why I love substitute teaching. Because when I was a substitute teacher, I can do whatever I wanted. Because nobody knew who I was. I was just a random guy. I could be whoever I wanted to be, and I felt free. Even though I still had to be at a job and be someplace, I wasn't beholden to some fucking staff, teachers, kids, parents. I got to be who I want to be. And then I got another job where I was compromised again. And I did what I needed to do. I did my time, got myself in a position where I didn't have to be compromised anymore. And now I'm doing the trade shit. And now with the trades, I'm not compromised anymore. I don't need any, well, I'm not going to say I don't need anybody. I still need people because everybody needs people. But I can be myself. And God damn it, if they don't like me, fuck you. I don't want your money then. And that's what guys need to start doing. You got to start realizing there's things more valuable than money. Money is nothing more than a fucking piece of paper. That's all it is. That buys you some time. But you need to understand, if you're not getting money through the utilization of your own time, you're wasting your life. You're wasting your life. Don't make money off of somebody spending your time. Make money spending your own time. That's the way the game is supposed to be worked. Because what you'll realize is when that fire hits your goddamn ass and you gotta actually go out there and go do it, you're gonna fucking do it. Trust me. Or you're gonna suffer some consequences. And guess what? Those consequences get worse the longer you don't value your time. And listen, time is all you got, really. At this end of the day, time and health, that's all you got. And really, that's all you need as a man. As long as you got your health, if you're able-bodied, you can move around, do what you need to do, and you got some time on your hands, bro, you can figure this shit out. And one of the things you guys got to start doing is get rid of the golden handcuffs. A lot of you guys are golden handcuffed. You're cuffed by a job that pays you extremely well, but the reason they pay you extremely well is so they can control you. And what I want you to understand is, fuck that. It's not worth it. Because guess what? When more time passes, you become a slave to whatever that thing that beholds your paycheck. And then you got to behave like them. And what's going to happen is it's going to be a tax on your soul. And that tax on your soul, you don't get a refund. You don't get a refund. I don't regret a lot in life. I really don't regret that much in life. Like, I'm pretty happy with most of the things that how they turned out in my life. But the only things I really regret is the times that I held myself back because I was being compromised by a paycheck. And now that I got out of that situation where I'm not compromised by a paycheck, I feel so better. I feel good. Every day I wake up in the morning with some goddamn zest. I wake up in the morning like, fuck, let's fucking go. Let's go fucking roll tide. Let's go beat the fucking system. And let's go get out here and go make some goddamn money. Go make some resources. Let's go meet some people. Let's go fucking expand our fucking horizons and learn some new shit. And now I'm at the position in life now where like, I don't give a goddamn. I really don't. And like even now, I say I'm at about 70% of my full capacity where I should be. I'm still compromised by a couple little things, but as soon as I reach the power levels where the point where I'm not compromised by that, oh, you're gonna see a whole new motherfucker. That's what you need to start aiming for. Figure out how to be that whole new motherfucker. And the thing is, a lot of you guys are scared. You got cowardice in you, and it's not your fault. It was bred into you. You were bred to be a coward, and that's really the saddest fucking aspect of the West is that men have been bred to be cowards. Like I love looking at Khabib. Khabib is a real fucking man. You know why Khabib's a man? Because he says some real hard dope shit. He says, I have bread, I have water. What more do I need? Fuck everything else. Fuck the money, fuck everything. UFC, fuck everything. I have bread, I have water, I have family. I'm doing a horrible Khabib impression. But basically what he was essentially saying is, bro, I don't need to be fucking taking this bullshit from anybody. Fuck Conor. He don't deserve the match. I beat this nigga's ass. Now, that's a different story for another day, because I think Conor was getting him, but I think Conor was kind of drunk. He was cheating and bullshitting most of the fight camp. But besides that, Khabib stood for something. I'm about this fucking life. Everything else is irrelevant to me. I'm about this mountain life. I'm a mountain man. I live off the land. I get my own food, I get my own water, and I fight people for money. Fuck what you want to talk about. And that's something you can respect. That's a man you can look at and say, God damn, that's a real fucking dude. Because he lives off a principle. And a lot of you guys are not living off a principle. You're not operating off the fundamentals of manhood and principles. And if you don't operate off your principles, you're always going to be compromised in some gray area. And guess what? That gray area, in today's age, is always going to shift you as far over to the white as it can. You want to be over as far to the black side as you can. Because the black side is who you really are. Men by nature are villains. We're tyrants. We're powerful creatures that want to have power and resources and territory. That's our fucking natural instinct to go do that. And the more you're compromised, the less you're going to go do that because you're getting a fucking paycheck. But guess what? Guess what's going to happen pretty soon? The crash out. A lot of motherfuckers are about to be crashing out because the system is fucking you now. The system is now collapsing because the system required strong men that had principles. And now that these principles are slowly fading away and people don't know how to do it, the system can't operate. See, there is a thing called, in chemistry, it's known as critical mass. And what happens in critical mass is once a isotope, which is like a bond of of two fucking things, of like two chemicals or whatever, or two atoms, once that isotope starts to degrade to a certain degree, it hits a critical mass, and once that critical mass happens, it officially breaks apart and will never come back again. And that's what's happened to America. We're now entering a fucking critical mass where everything's now starting to collapse because now we don't have enough men in the society to keep this shit running. Because most of the men that were of old age that existed in a time when men were men are now starting to fucking retire, die off, and become old people. And so now the new generation needs to come in and take over. And the new generation is full of fucking goddamn compromised dudes. And because they're all compromised, they're scared to do what they need to be done because they're fear of what society is going to say about them. Fuck society. Man never give a fuck about goddamn society. We built society. Man, the society that originally existed was of a bunch of individual men who operated on principles and manhood. Back in the day, if you had a fucking issue with somebody, you go to their door and say, hey, look, motherfucker, I don't like you. You don't like me. Let's go outside and goddamn duel. Somebody got to go. And you know what they would do? Fuck it. With handshake agreement, to get some people to ref it, and they would go out there and somebody got to die. Now, was that probably the smartest way to go about it? I don't know. But that's irrelevant to the fucking story because the point was somebody knew that they had to go because they knew this was some bullshit and I was going to deal with this bullshit. I'd rather die than live with bullshit. Give me freedom or give me death. Or give me liberty or give me death. That was the America standpoint. We lost that fucking mentality a long time ago. I would say about 40 years ago. And now women are just taking over. because women don't compromise. See, that's one of the things you guys don't understand about women. If women have the upper hand, they use it to their full advantage. They don't give a damn. Bleep you, bleep your mama, bleep your daddy, bleep your paycheck. I'm gonna get you for everything you fucking got because you know what? You are dumb, and you let me take over your fucking life. And that's what happened to a lot of guys. A lot of guys are now suffering with the consequences of basically giving up and compromising to the point where now they became the woman of the relationship and she's the leader, and women are real tyrants. And we should take that lesson from women. That's what I love about women, because women let you know what the fucking real is. They're tyrants. They don't give a goddamn. And men used to be like that. Men used to not give a goddamn about what the fuck was going on. They used to fight just for the sake of fighting, just to prove a fucking point, to show, look, I don't give a goddamn if I lose, win, or draw. The point is, I showed up, I made the walk, and fuck you and fuck everything you stand for. Because it goes against my principles and my reality. And that's what happens. You guys don't live in your own reality anymore. You guys are living in fantasy land. Get out of fucking fantasy land. Get into reality. Stop compromising on stupid shit. There's certain things you can compromise on. Well, not a lot of things you can compromise on, but it's small things. Like your kids, yeah, your kids want to go do something, you know, I don't want to do it, but you know what? I'll compromise because fuck it, they're my kids. But everything else, fuck that. And guess what? When you live in the path of the light, when you follow the Father, the universe, the great Father of the universe, when you follow that motherfucker, you listen to what his logic tells you, and your instincts that he gave you naturally, your God-given gift of fucking manhood and masculinity and logic, he'll provide a way. Every time I listened to the Father, every time I didn't give up and I fucking kept my manhood, he gave me a fucking blessing to help me get through life. And if you want to get through life, embrace your fucking masculinity, stop being compromised, get out there and go be somebody. Apex fucking out. Hit the fucking Cash App and hit up my fucking webpage. Book a consultation so you can stop being a fuck nigga.